Greetings, fellow Whovians, and welcome to Timey Wimey Review. Doctor Who Season 2, Episode 3, The Well has landed. And I don't know about you, I felt there was a lot more hype surrounding this episode. Also, there was rumours that this could be a potential sequel to a previous Doctor Who episode. So, really, did it live to the hype? Was it a sequel to an episode of Doctor Who? Well, please hit the subscribe button. That'll really help out this channel. Let's go into a spoiler talk review of The Well. And yes, it's going to be spoilers aplenty for this episode. You have been warned. So we started this episode off with the Doctor and Belinda in the TARDIS, pretty much as we left off in the previous episode, Lux. As they're trying to get back to May 2025, TARDIS is having none of it. And I really liked the continuity story arcs that we're building for Season 2. Bit sort of like if you compare it to last season where it was the Doctor and Ruby, there was like quite a lot of passage of time between episodes. So you didn't get that sort of organic growth between the relationship between the two, where this is what we've got here, which is really, really good. Felt a bit like sort of classic Doctor Who, particularly season 1 of classic Doctor Who, with the first Doctor, Ian, Barbara, and Susan. That's just that nice lineage passage of time rather than just jumping into different time points. This time they have landed far into the future, and the Doctor grabs his Vindicator to try and add the extra sort of plot points to get back to Earth May 2025. And they arrive on a ship and have been immediately ordered to put this space helmet on, and then they get flung straight down onto this planet. So a really nice cold opening for this episode. One thing I noticed, and what Mrs. Timey Wimey picked up when I got her to watch this episode, is how do they know which space suits to pick? It was a little bit jarring that they knew the exact space uniform to go for. So they land on the planet, which was giving me quite a lot of alien vibes as they go and investigate this whole crew of 11 crew, and then them two make it 13, and they go to investigate this colony that was mining for some resources, and they were all pretty much killed. So there was going to investigate what actually happened, or at least check if there's any survivors. But there is a survivor, one survivor, a deaf woman called Alice Fenley, and obviously she doesn't know what's going on. She's saying that the crew just turned mad and they were killing each other. Lots of mirrors being shattered as well in the cabins. And through a lot of investigations, we get into the big sort of surprise reveal for this episode. This is actually the planet that the Doctor has travelled to millions, or no, not millions, thousands of years before in the past, the planet Midnight. Yes, that wonderfully terrifying episode from Series 4 of Doctor Who, with the 10th Doctor, of course, travelling on that space train on the planet Midnight. Yes, there were rumours that this could be a sequel to Midnight, which a lot of Whovians were a little bit worried about. And yeah, I sort of stumbled across these rumours, but it didn't spoil the reveal for me. I thought the reveal was really pretty solid, and then having that nice little flashback of seeing the 10th Doctor as well. Yeah, it was a nice little moment, but again, it's just, I mean, it's fine here for the UK because that's a nice, again, subtle advertising for the Whoniverse. So you can just, if you weren't quite familiar to that episode, you could either pause at that moment, jump onto the iPlayer and watch Midnight. But across the pond and around the world, probably a bit more difficult to do. Obviously, they are obtainable. And I know, obviously, a lot of hardcore Whovians would have known exactly what was going on. But again, when we're advertising, or at least doing this soft relaunch, to bring in new audiences, it would be good that the library is accessible, or a lot more easier accessible. If they do renew their deal to collaborate with the BBC again, would the back catalogue be part of this deal? I'm surprised at the very least they didn't at least go for the modern era of Doctor Who back catalogue as part of this deal with Disney already and the BBC. But maybe there was some other sticking points to that, with it being currently on HBO. I'm not sure. That's a worry for another day. But it would have been nice to make sure that this episode is a lot more easily accessible for new audiences to catch up on. Let's talk about the characters in this episode, starting off with the Doctor. And it was very much the Doctor being the Doctor, which I really enjoyed. I thought this was Ncuti Gatwa's probably his best performance to date as the Doctor as well. Yes, we had some crying, fine, but honestly, I thought that was relevant for this story because, again, going back to Midnight and how terrified and traumatized the 10th Doctor was after that trip that he took, and even at that final ending of Midnight, and he was just like, don't joke about this. This was, you know, traumatizing, terrifying, and yeah, it was natural for the 15th Doctor to feel like that. And obviously, the big reveal that, oh my gosh, I'm at this planet again, I know what happened. But the real heart-stealing moment for me was seeing the Doctor's sign language, because he is Santa Claus. It very much reminded me of the remake version of Miracle on 34th Street, where Santa was sign language in with the deaf girl. And yeah, of course the Doctor should sign language. If you can speak baby and the TARDIS can translate anything, yes, he can sign language. So it was good that we saw that. I thought that was a really just, if you didn't feel anything from that moment, yeah, I'm sorry, you're mental. Because honestly, I thought that was just such a lovely touch for many people who are deaf. And bonus points for everyone else that obviously couldn't sign language and they had those translators on their chests, which puts up a screen of what they were saying. So obviously Alice can read, obviously she can lip read, but it was good that they had the translation in there. And yeah, that's, they could have easily have just put like subtitles on the bottom of the screen, but to have it as part of the actual action and episode as well. Again, it just makes Doctor Who look even more gorgeous. Yeah, I thought it was just a nice added touch. But not only that, Ncuti Gatwa had a lot of range in his performance in this episode. Yes, well, obviously we had the crying moments, but again, he was energetic. I loved when he was getting to the sort of crux of the episode and he was solving the mystery and figuring out how to sort of deal with the midnight entity. We had his theme music kick in, and yeah, I love that, and I want to see more of that because that theme music is spectacular. I love it. Barada Sethu is just going from strength to strength, in my opinion, as Belinda. And yeah, there was again some nice little feisty moments, or at least some nice little subtle moments of still being that kind of that reluctant traveler. There was a moment when they first landed on the planet, and they were both pretending to be the sort of this higher up on this sort of like, and it was like an exam test for the commanding officer of this military crew. And then when it was revealed to Belinda that, oh no, we can't just land the ship straight away, it has to do like an orbit, that'll take about 5 hours. And I like that she looked at the Doctor and gone, so we're having to mess around here for 5 hours, do we? Sort of like, how convenient. I thought that was just a nice little moment for Belinda there. But what I also liked more from Belinda in this episode was showing her nursing skills. At least that wasn't just squandered away as sort of a character backdrop, a bit like poor Mel with a computer scientist. But also showing her intelligence, because she was the one that picked up about all the mirrors were broken in the cabins, and also saying that shouldn't be standing behind Alice, because that's when the midnight entity gets you. You get killed off. So yeah, it was nice that she had those moments to pick them up and yeah, had a chance to shine. I really enjoyed the supporting characters in this episode. So I'll start off with Keelan Dunn as the commanding officer Shea. I enjoyed her military leadership role for this character, and there was like a nice little sort of subtle, I got this question right, when Belinda was testing hers, or was pretending to be like these, well, as Belinda said it, mystery shoppers. There was that sort of nice moments in there. Again, it's the main nitpick for Doctor Who Season 2 for me. This episode could have easily been 15 minutes longer. These episodes should be an hour. I don't get the logic. Because, yeah, they really could have explored Shea a lot more in this episode. Because she does have quite a rich back history. She's from a war-torn planet, had to basically learn how to fight from a very young age. That made her one of the best gunfighters, shooters in the galaxy, or at least on this planet. Someone's been really looking at Kieran Reese's character from Star Trek Deep Space Nine and going, "Yep, we'll take her for that." But don't get me wrong, Keelan definitely brought her own to this role for this character. But yeah, mainly for Shea, she mentioned a few times in this episode hope, and she was like basically saying, "Yeah, there's no such thing as hope. Hope is gone." And this is something that they could have expanded on, because she said it twice, and then on the third time, she was like, "I'm the bringer of hope." But yeah, what I would have loved to explore is that sort of duality of hope, because that's what the Doctor is. The Doctor is the bringer of hope. He's, he makes the impossible possible when he tries to save the galaxy. And I think she's kind of the same, but has been just tried to do it, but just got beaten down and beaten down from whatever sort of war that she had to deal with. And yeah, those two dynamics could have been explored so much more, particularly, again, mega spoiler, when obviously she sacrifices herself to the midnight entity in her own way to bring that hope for saving the rest of the crew members and the Doctor and Belinda. That is something that was so much missing, which is such a shame. But it might have messed with the pacing of the story. Who knows? But yeah, I would have liked to have seen that being explored in this episode. Maybe it's something that Big Finish will pick up on, or maybe we get to see this character on a future episode of Doctor Who. I also liked Christopher Chung in this episode. He was kind of like the second in command, Cassio, who tries to sort of lead a bit of a mutiny at one point. He was very much the gruff military, shoot first, ask questions later, and kind of had a bit of an authority complex with the Doctor. I thought at one point they were going to maybe sort of explore maybe this particular character, Cassio, was a homophobe, because there was a moment where the Doctor called him babes, and he was like, in this situation, you do not call me babes. And then the Doctor sort of retorted, "All right, honey, all right, hon." And there was a couple of moments where Cassia wasn't believing what the Doctor was saying, and that's kind of led to a bit of a revolt. And they didn't really explore it in much detail, that sort of homophobia, but I don't know. Maybe I was just reaching out a bit too much there in this episode. But let me know in the comments if you felt that as well. Or is that something that they could have possibly explored within this character? But the shining moments of all the supporting characters, it has to be Rose Ayling-Ellis as Alice Bentley. She was just great. I've not really seen her that much in EastEnders. The only really sort of I sort of like picked up from her was her time on Strictly Come Dancing and winning that final, winning the trophy. But here, I thought her performance was outstanding. She really sort of gets you in sort of like, oh my gosh, I'm the what is happening to me, why me, very much a lost person that just wants to go home, go back to her daughter. I'm only the ship's cook, and I don't really do much. I just bang it in the oven and add a bit of salt in the sort of ready meal baking trays or whatever it was. So I really like that sort of vulnerability about the character, but there was also moments where you knew that she was kind of hiding something, and sort of like, is she telling the truth? Is she, is she manipulating the situation? Is she going to turn on everyone? There was little moments like that, and then you sort of like revealed that there was something on my back, and again, you couldn't 100% trust her for at least 20 minutes of this episode. But yeah, I thought she was brilliant. I hope we do get to see her as a character. I think she, again, missed a trick. There was rumours that she could have been a potential companion in Doctor Who full time, and I think she would have been fantastic. Never say never, we might have that again in the future, but I'm glad that she's been in Doctor Who nonetheless. She, again, fantastic performance. We also had the cameo appearance, of course, of Anita Dobson, Mrs. Flood, and she wasn't very much like Mrs. Flood, as we've seen before. You know, she was kind of pretending to be this kind of doddery old friendly neighbor, you know, oh, don't worry, sweetheart, all that kind of stuff. But here she was, again, as if like a commanding officer from far away, where it was kind of asking to be revealed that, oh, I thought you brought the doctor and Belinda. She was like, oh no, did this person carry this? And it was the I'll say that again, Vindicator. Yeah, so she knew what the Vindicator was. So yeah, it to me it kind of leans into maybe a potential one character who she could be, but you're gonna have to let me know in the comments below your final theories on who Mrs. Flood is. But I'm loving these cameo appearances. It's kind of making more sense. It's just building that story arc throughout season 2, putting those pieces together and just teasing us a little bit more an episode at a time. Is this a worthy sequel to the episode Midnight? I say yes. You know, is it as good as Midnight? Probably not. Again, the 15 minutes extra time could have really explored the Midnight entity a bit further, where we had some really chilling moments in the Midnight episode of this entity sort of playing with the humans, or the Doctor in that case, with the sort of mimicking of the voices. We didn't really get that here. It was more sort of just brute strength from this entity flowing all these bodies around, you know. Yeah, it would have been nice to have seen what the entity, this Midnight entity, is capable of doing. We kind of had one side of it for this episode. You know, again, that's probably just due to running time allowances, to be fair. It didn't detract from this episode, far from it. If anything, it's kind of giving you a less is more type of vibe, which, you know, sometimes is the best direction. I'm glad that we didn't get to get a full reveal of what this entity looks like as well. We only kind of get a little bit of a moment of the Doctor seeing part of the entity and just terrified and ran. So that's good. And it brings, and it can easily be a villain that can come back in a future episode of Doctor Who. And I hope it's a full-on surprise. I don't think it should be one that they should reveal. You know, I like that it was kind of, all right, it was kind of leaked, but I'm glad it was a big surprise for the majority, I would say, on the Whoniverse. I'm going to give The Well a TARDIS rating of 8 out of 10. I just really enjoyed this episode, and what I've, again, found more through Doctor Who Season 2 so far is I've watched these episodes twice in one day, which I didn't really do that much for Season 1. Probably Dot and Bubble was the exception. All the rest, you know, this season, I've been watching at least twice before I'm reviewing this episode, because they had just got quite a lot of rewatchability and a lot of sort of subtle story arc moments as well, which I'm really enjoying. Again, they put this here in this episode where the crew didn't know what Earth was, you know, or what, you know, yes, we're human beings, but Earth is a planet that is not in their memory banks, or, you know, is, they do not know what Earth is. So again, that ties it in nicely of what has happened to Earth. You know, we've got the hints that it's been blown up, but again, we don't know what's happening. But yeah, it's building up these story arcs wonderfully, but individually as an episode, it is a solid performance. I love the alien vibes. I love that it kind of gave me Quiet Place vibes, as well as obviously a sequel to Midnight. It also gave me vibes of Turn Left, of there's something on your back. Yeah, I can't praise this episode anymore. Again, the main nitpick is more time. That 15 minutes to explore this episode so much more in different directions, whether it's for exploring Shea, the Midnight entity, or even just the sets and the planet itself. That's the only nitpick I could say about these episodes so far. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts to The Well. Did you enjoy this episode? Is this your favourite episode from Season 2? Do you agree or disagree with my opinions? Let me know in the comments, and also let me know what is your top 3 so far from Doctor Who Season 2. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed this spoiler talk review. If you have, please like, share and subscribe. Hit the cloister bell for more notifications. Come say hello and follow me on Facebook and X. And do check out my other fantastic Doctor Who related content on Timey Wimey Review TikTok. And of course, right here on the Timey Wimey Review YouTube channel, including my review, of course, of Midnight. I will put a link in the descriptions below so you can go straight to that review right now. But again, thank you for your love and support as always. Truly, truly appreciate it. And as the good doctor once said, I can, I do, I will.